My Christian name is Gary Martin. My Indian name is White Wolf Wabshkimahingan. I originate from Moose Factory, Ontario, but I've been living and residing in Timmins for the last 44 years. I run the Traditional Healer program for Mississauga Health Centre that deals with some of the issues that our people suffered from in regards to Indian residential schools. You know, my dad was a survivor. He was first generation. I'm what you would call a second generation survivor, and hence I've developed a program along with some of my friends to address those issues that mainstream is lacking right now. You know, unfortunately, the residential school system played a big part in the disconnect. Our people were forced to go through a disconnect from the land. So when we developed our program here around trauma, it had to be on the land. You have to make your fires on Mother Nature. You have to feel her, you have to touch her, you have to be able to sense that. One unique thing about our program here, we don't use any Western medication in our traditional healer program. Our medicine cabinet's still in the bush. We go back and pick, leaves, branches, roots, and come up with these remedies that have been here since the beginning of time. I've been living in Timmins now for approximately 44 years. My first experience coming off the train was still coming to Timmins at the time. I was 19 years old. And I was standing at the front steps there, and I was looking down 3rd Avenue, and this was just amazing to me, all these fancy lights. The first time I ever came to Timmins here, I thought I was coming to Toronto. Like, I couldn't even drive my truck. I had to park it and take taxis because I was so nervous. You know, I never... where we come from, you're lucky if you meet a car on the road once a day. You know, there's no traffic up there. But, you know, people were tooting their horns at me. I thought, well, you know, this is good. I guess maybe they're welcoming me to the city of Timmins, until one guy rolled his window down and said, "You don't belong here, go home." Like, all of a sudden, like, why am I not welcome here? This is home. The guy that made the comment, he's an immigrant. Anybody who was white skin is an immigrant from different countries. You know, we were the indigenous people, the original people of this land. Like, I was just blown away. Like, I didn't know how to take that. Like, even during this interview today, like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong here, because we've never been given that privilege to get in front of the camera and actually tell Canada what our people have been through. You know, the sexual abuse, the physical abuse, the spiritual abuse, you know, the emotional, mental abuse, like, you know, you name it, we've been through that. But at the same time, even though our people have been through all that trauma, like we're still here. We're very resilient people. And I'd like to think, you know, we're at this time in our life of our nation healing. You know, we'd like to offer those same things to Canada and have them heal with us. And right now, what we're trying to do here is just educate the general public on what we've been through and what we're expecting them to do, is to learn about this, learn about that missing chapter in Canadian history. But when you look at history and that in the curriculum, in especially the provincial system, you might hear a few lines in there about us Native people as guides, fur trappers. You know, very meaningless role compared to the explorers. But if it wasn't for us, those explorers would never found those riches here in Canada. But you never hear the good things we've done. Christopher Columbus would never have survived if it wasn't for our people. We nurtured that little person back to life, and, you know, maybe we should have just left them there, eh? Sorry, boys, that one's free. I don't know where that came from, Jules. We've lost so much fun in our life because of all the trauma we've been through. And I think we have every right to laugh and joke around now because we've done our work. We still have a long ways to go. And whoever decides to come here to seek help, we're not going to turn them down. Like, we don't want our people walking around town here like zombies. We want them to be fully participating, working, raising their families. We want our people to be healthy and be the people that we're supposed to be. Even though Canada has put us through this, horrific time, residential school, child welfare, the justice system, you name it, like, we've been put through everything and we're still here. And we're still willing to work with all those other cultures to get them on this path of healing. But if there's a lot of judgments, that's when the problems start. If they don't understand our culture, they should come in here and learn. We were forced to go in that church and learn their way. This is an open door. We'll share that with them openly and willingly. And how we raise our families and how we raise our people, could benefit the rest of the world. And I think for me, I'm 63 years old, and I still feel that fear when I talk against society right now. But, frankly, I don't give a anymore. They got to hear this. The truth hurts, but the truth will also help you heal. And I think that when you talk about Canadians feeling uncomfortable, I think it's that shame finding out what Canada has actually done to our people. But they have to realize this is 2021. They didn't do it. But they have a responsibility to educate themselves now to become better Canadian citizens here with Canada, because we're not going anywhere. That saying, they can take an Indian out of the bush, but they'll never take the bush out of an Indian. And that's why we're so strong. If it wasn't for the bush, I think we would have been assimilated a long time ago. All those medicines are keeping us alive. All our ceremonies are keeping us intact. And working together makes us stronger. And if they want to come walk with us, that road's pretty wide. There's lots of room for our non-Native brothers and sisters. Like I said, we work with all cultures, and when you go into that sweat, it's completely dark. So you don't know who's red, white, or blue in there. And everybody's treated the same. And I think that's how the rest of society should look at it.